Welcome back, Movie Misfits, and today we'll be talking about Mike Flanagan's much anticipated follow-up show, The Haunting of Bly Manor. Before I go into the review of The Haunting of Bly Manor, I wanted to go back and say how much I really enjoyed The Haunting of Hillhouse. With The Haunting of Hillhouse, I really enjoyed the pacing of the show. It pulled me in right away. I enjoyed the casting of each of the characters that they had in it, both the young versions and the old versions. It was very intriguing, and I felt like they pulled me in from episode 1 to the very last episode. There was something happening in each episode, and I really enjoyed that fact about the show. I thought the scares were good. They weren't always obvious. I liked how some things were in the background, and you almost had to look for things. I really enjoyed that about the show. I liked the location, and I liked the pacing overall. Everything that I just mentioned about The Haunting of Hill House that I enjoyed was not in this season. Just like American Horror Story, The Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor likes to reuse the same actors over and over again, even though they're playing different characters completely. Actress Victoria Pendretti is taking the lead on The Haunting of Bly Manor. Victoria Pendretti's character has suffered something very traumatic back in the US and takes a job over in the UK. I bet you're thinking when she gets to the good old house in the good old England that we'll get to some scares. Unfortunately, no. We are introduced into the supporting cast. However, we don't really know much about them, unfortunately. So, as I mentioned, what I enjoyed about The Haunting of Hill House, how I was saying the pacing was good, how each character was interesting, how each character pulled me in. I was invested from episode 1 all the way to the end. However, with this show, I felt the opposite. It's a very slow burn. I like slow burns in movies. I mean, I'm a big fan of The Exorcist. I like the slow burn in Rosemary's Baby, even Hereditary. I enjoy things like that. I know there's something to build. However, I felt in this show, Victoria Pendretti's character was not very interesting or compelling to watch. By episode 2, I had noticed, okay, I understand that this character's gone through something very traumatic, but which we don't know yet. We are not given any information on what happened. So by episode 3, I started noticing it more. And by episode 3, we're still only focusing on her character. We're getting little glimpses of the other characters that are involved. However, her character started to become like a wet blanket to me. I was like, every episode she was literally just like that. And by episode 4, I noticed I was like, okay, I'm starting to laugh now. And I felt myself not wanting to watch the show anymore. I noticed myself wanting to stop it. And I even thought to myself I could just turn the show off and come back to it eventually. And actually, that's what happened. I'm not going to lie. When it was released in October, I turned it off. And and I started to rewatch it from the very beginning again because I did want to give a good review on it. However, like I said, her character was literally a wet blanket the entire time. After a while, I just couldn't take it seriously anymore. Every time I would see her on camera, because she always had a look of like she was about to cry. There was something always wrong. And again, we don't know anything yet as the audience. I felt myself wanting to turn it off yet again. We knew nothing about the additional characters that were there. Or I should say the supporting characters we knew not much about. However, they seemed interesting enough. However, as an audience, we kept having to focus on this character who was literally a wet blanket. And she actually started reminding me of Ben Stiller at the end of There's Something About Mary. Not till episode 6, when we started getting a little more backstory about what this traumatic experience that our main character went through. And also we start spreading out as far as each individual supporting character, which each supporting character was actually very interesting. Even though the show got better by the time there was episode 6, I thought to myself, wow, this is the complete opposite of the Haunting of Hill House. However, this did not feel like a scary ghost story. It felt more like a drama with maybe some ghosts involved. Maybe it was hard for me to take Oliver Cohen seriously in this season. He was in The Haunting of Hill House, in which he was very good. However, in this season, he was in the background so much, and by the time we got any real reveal on him, or by the time we got to hear him speak more than a sentence, I found myself thinking of Goldmember.
Would you like a schmuck and a pancake?
I didn't hate this show. I didn't think it was great. It wasn't terrible. It was sort of in the meh category for me. Even after episode 4 of the second rewatch, I still had the image of Ben Stiller in my head every time I saw Victoria Pedretti on the screen. I have Goldmember in the back of my head now.
I love gold.
Would I suggest this? Sure. We're still in a pandemic. You can't go anywhere. Might as well watch it. And I would check out The Haunting of Hill House all over again just so you could see the difference between the two shows. If I was to give this a rating, I would give it a
C+. Oh no, it can't be.
C plus?
So hopefully I wasn't too harsh on this one. Like I said, it wasn't my cup of tea after episode 4. Even after I rewatched it again, I still felt the same after my rewatch. It didn't get interesting or compelling until after episode 6. That might even be episode 7. By the time I was like, okay, I'm in it, it was over. So I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.